Hey Tamers, and welcome to a second video of I forget what we're calling this, but cards that you should buy. There you go. So we're doing the black cards that you should buy in the Digimon TCG, whether it is staple cards or they're just good cards to have in general that you can put in overall decks. We are going to start it off with Pagumon.
The only good Titama for black. Generic, at least.
True. So this one, on deletion, reveal the top card of your deck. Add it to your hand if it's a black Digimon card, otherwise place it at the bottom of your deck. So it has a small downside to it. Small downside being is if you end up, revealing a Ultimate Flare, get the other card. But if you end up revealing an option card, you can't get it because it has to be a Digimon card. It's the only downside to this card. Other than that, it's really good because it kind of helps you draw faster and get into your deck a little quicker.
Yeah, just a little bit of cycling. That's it. Just helps you get to your pieces a little quicker. But like you said, unfortunately, your options or even tamers just get placed to the bottom.
Moving on, you can take that one off.
Gatsumon. This is just a cheap blocker to drop. It's pretty good if you think about it. It's you could be in a situation where your security is pretty low and you're trying to digivolve into like some one-cost blockers, and then it's not enough, so you can just hard play the Gatsumon and you're good.
The other Commandramon that is a blocker is 4, so this one's just better because it's a 3. Obviously, the downside is when you attack, you do lose 2 memory, but I mean, you're not really ever going to attack with this card. Yeah. So, good overall card to have. It is from BT2.
And then that's the upside to that one Commandramon, is that it can attack without having to lose memory. So,
correct. Yeah. Then Toy Agumon.
Oh boy.
Reboot.
Just think about it. That right there is such an insane ability. A lot of people don't realize how strong Reboot really is, especially to like some Digimon. Like, the most notorious one for the black cards is Craniumon. If it does block or if it does attack, that's your chance. It's such a hard Digimon to get rid of, and being able to swing over it's like the only way. But it's so disheartening seeing it swing at your security, lives, and then it just has Reboot.
It's just really good. It gives you blanket reboot for all of your black Digimon. So I loved using this, especially starting off, just because, a lot of times, especially back in the beginning, even if you survived, you're like, okay, well, he's going to swing over it next time because there's an ultimate down there. He's going to move it up, Digivolve to Omega and swing over it. That kind of got rid of that little fear of like, okay, he's going to get, my Digimon's going to get attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just insane. And then moving on to Chumon. So Chumon is placed here. Obviously, it's a memory blocker, so you can't get memory except tamers. Chumon puts in a lot of work.
Why they do Chumon so bogus? He's the only one that has 1,000 DP. Everyone else, I think, has 2K or 3K.
Oh yeah, right. The Midoki has like 2, I think.
And then they're all. Why they do him so bogus like that?
That's true. That is very true.
I mean, he's ugly, but yeah, ugly Digimon. But
so I mean, yeah, really. I mean, just memory block tamers. Think about it. It blocks memory boost. It blocks Darkdramon. It blocks any
Machine
Digimon
Dramon.
though. Yep. Machine Dramon. So any Digimon that your opponent gets memory from, it just blocks it. It's insane. I did have a match yesterday where this Chumon was really the MVP of that match. My opponent had 2 memory boosts out and he couldn't use them. And then Chikurimon. So not really a staple card. You're not going to put this in every black deck. Can you? Yeah, you can. Although it sucks when it just goes to your hand and it's not in security, right?
It's a good card to have, though. I still think it's definitely something to get a playset of. Really strong ability.
You hit it on security, you digivolve one of your Digimon. And as I've said before in previous videos, up to date till now, we still have no protection from getting digivolved. Now, there is a card that's coming out later on that does have protection against it, but till now, or up to now, we still don't have any protection from getting digivolved. So it is very good. Unfortunately, it does have to be in your security. All right, and then next on our list is, you can take that one off.
Kakuamon, just another floodgate card, like the Chumon, really good. Players can't ignore Digivolution requirements, so basically that stops cards like Beelzemon, being able, or U-Force, or Alt Force, whatever you want to call it, Basically, those cards that can just warp Digivolve into from the rookie to the Mega. I believe those cards say ignoring the Digivolution requirement. So there you go.
Next, we got Karamon. So this is promo. It's a little pricey.
Oh, yes.
It's a little pricey, but the reason I have this card up here because it has a really good inherit on your opponent's turn. This Digimon gets 1000 DP. You know, a few black megas kind of lack DP, so I really wanted to use this on the Black War Greymon that came out that has rebooted and a blocker. It would give him 12. So and that's pretty much it for Karamon. Yeah, it's very expensive. I remember it being like $40. I think now it's like 20-ish.
Yeah, 10. I think I saw some of them at 10, but I don't know if that's because it was in certain condition or, but yeah, it's a pretty hefty price. Not as hefty as this one though.
Oh yes, but this one I think is actually worth the value. So, yeah. Sunrizamon, another promo, really good. So during your turn, while this card is in play, all of your black Digimon with 13,000 DP or more gain piercing. So that effect alone is nasty. So now you have cards like Blastmon that has 13,000 gain piercing when you have this on play. And then the inherit is if it has 13,000 DP or more, it gets security attack +1. So that's also crazy. Now what sucks about it is that there's not many Digimon that have over 13,000 DP. However, Hero could help. You know, if you're attacking, now that increases it by 2,000. So there's cards to increase your DP.
Yeah, basically the next two we're gonna have are like the vanilla champions. The Numemon is just a black version of the champions you get that are like a 3 cost to just play and a 1 cost to Evo. And then Tankmon on the other end, it's just another vanilla where it's just a 1 cost Evo. And it's like 6k DP. But this is a nice card right here. Yeah, Mechanorimon. This pretty much crippled Rookie Rush the moment this card was announced. Like,
oh yes,
there was no need for the Volcanic Dramon anymore once Mechanorimon came out. Literally just a 4 cost drop blocker that unsuspends every time it deletes a Digimon and it survives. Rookie Rush just could not do anything to this card. Without having to do something like a Gaia Force or something just to out it. But usually doing so gave them a lot of memory where you could just drop another Mechanorimon.
What's really good too is this is so good against like D Brigade. So I have this in my D Brigade. So good for mirror match. And then mind you, if you have that Karamon on their turn, it's going to jump up to 7, right? So then second,
Grumblemon hybrid, you know, standard.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, Dark Tyrannomon is the 1 cost 5k blocker. This one might still be up there a little bit. I think it might be $4 or $5 now. When it first came out, it was hard to get these cards because these are like starter deck blockers, and it was such a pain to get. And then to make things worse, there was only like 2 of them in the deck.
Yeah, and so for black, this was the only one. For the other colors, you had one, but this was the first one that was introduced for black of a 1 cost blocker.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, they did it in a starter deck.
Then you got Gogmamon. I haven't said that right. Good card overall. I think you could use this in a lot of decks just because it gives you DP. So you Digiburst 1, and then you could give one of your Digimon 2000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So mind you, it doesn't have to be the same card. It can be any other one. So if you have the Mechanorimon now, you want to boost its DP, you could Digiburst it and give Mechanorimon, you could get it up to 10k if you want to. With Digiburst, although it says Digiburst 1, you can do it multiple times as long as you have sources to trash. So keep that in mind. And then his inherit is really nasty. All turns, this Digimon gets 1000 DP.
And think about it too this way. We were talking about that Sunrizamon earlier. This effect still applies to this Digimon as well. So even if he Digivolves, he'll still keep that extra 2000 DP. And then on top of that, now he'll get another 1000 because of its inherit. And that could be the just the right amount of DP you needed to push you over that 13k point.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to talk about it. But if you have this Black War Greymon, that will easily jump it over 13. All right, next we got
Waryumonzemon. I always wanted to know what the hell was inside the middle of its stomach.
Yeah.
I think they might have done something in Ghost games where like it was some. It reminded me of the Tamamon.
Digitamamon.
That's what it looked like. That's what I'm assuming it's inside. Anyway, I think we spent way too much time
I'll cut
on
that
just
out.
that. But yeah, this is actually a really good card because it took a couple sets for Black to get something like this, where it was just like a good generic vanilla
Ultimate.
ultimate. Yeah, I don't know why I had a brain fart, but yeah, Alan, it's a good just 5 cost to drop too.
And moving on, we have Mega Dramon. This card is fantastic to have because it's inherit. It just gives you blocker, plain and simple. It just gives you blocker.
Yeah,
That's all there is to say about that card. And then moving on to the War Greymon. Now this one isn't a staple card, so you don't need to have this. I just put this up here because it has 2 really good abilities. Blocker and reboot at the same time is really nasty. There's ways to give it jamming. So now you can have blocker, reboot, and jamming. As I stated before, right? You'll still be scared to attack if you run into, something higher or whatnot. But that's pretty much it. I only have it because it's a blocker and reboot. You can freely swing, get DP high enough to swing where you don't have to worry about dying to higher DP than you. And then at the end of the turn, or your opponent's on suspend phase, you unsuspend and you can still block. So just a good card to kind of start off with if you kind of, well, maybe not start off with anymore, but it's a good card to have.
the Black War Greymon. The alt art for this card is amazing, by the way. That's like the best version of the card. But I don't think you'll ever use the first effect of this card. It just says while your opponent has a Digimon with 10k DP or more in play, you can reduce the memory cost to play this Digimon by 6. It's still what, a 7 cost? That's
7.
still pretty hefty to play, but I guess if you ever get into a situation where that has to happen. But the reason this card's on here is because it actually has a really good ability. It says when attacking, if you attack your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP unsuspended, I can't remember off the top of my head, I believe it's one of the Metal Greymons that give it the inherit to attack unsuspended Digimon.
And we're gonna segue into that card because that's a card we forgot to talk about.
That combined with this card, oh my goodness, that's just nasty.
So we could lead off into it.
Yeah. In general, yes, it costs 4 to digivolve into, but it has such a powerful effect. It's when digivolving, it already says digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, so that's nuts. Then afterwards, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less.
This was fantastic. I had fun playing this against you when you used armor.
Oh yeah, when I had armor, it was rough.
It's such a good way to get around armor purge. Just because you do digivolve it and then you can delete that rookie just for digivolving. You ain't even attack it.
Exactly.
So really good. You could do digivolve Omega and then delete a memory blocker that's on the board. That's also good. But then the inherit is the one where it's probably just a little better. So while this Digimon has Dragonkin and Machine in its trait, it can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So now we go back into this Black War Greymon here. When attacking, if you attack an opponent's Digimon with the highest DP, you can unsuspend it. So if this card came out back when, we kind of had a Rookie Rush or something like that.
Wider board.
Or whiteboard like Lord Nightmon. You could swing at every Digimon your opponent has, because as long as you're attacking the highest one, it's going to unsuspend. And this gave you the ability to swing at unsuspended Digimon, so it was just disgusting. Yeah, the only thing I would say about this one is, if they would have gave it Rush, then it would have made more sense of why you would want to drop it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean
Blitz.
Blitz doesn't
Rush.
Yeah.
Rush, Blitz, either or.
No,
But Blitz is one.
Sense.
Yeah, Rush, like Dark Dramon. But I don't know why they didn't. I mean, 7 is just so costly.
Yeah.
More than likely, it's going to pass turn and you can't even swing anyway.
Yeah. Then it's also a 4 cost to evolve too. It's like
Yeah. So this Metal Greymon is what made that card worth it. Then Craniumon.
Oh boy. Well, in general, this is a really good card. It's a blocker, and it says all turns Digimon with blocker, so not just himself can't be deleted by your opponent's card effects. So it has built-in protection on its own. So It's a very difficult card to deal with. Obviously, if you're playing a deck like yellow where you can reduce DP, no problem. But a lot of the times, you're not playing a yellow deck that can reduce DP, and then this card becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So, you'll see very quickly, because as you've seen throughout this list, there's a lot of cards that give the inherit of giving DP on your opponent's turn. Never expect this Digimon to stay at just 12k. It's usually going to be around a 13 to 1400 range. So
Yeah.
very good card to pick up. I think this is definitely one. Maybe not 4, but if you can get 4, why not?
Yeah, so just to give you some examples, if you drop Lucimon Chaos mode, it's protected from that.
Mm-hmm.
If you play Lucimon off of like Mastemon, Mastemon's effect is protected. Gaia Force is protected. The only way you can get rid of its card is by attacking it. So it's kind of like a knockoff Mother. Alright, moving on, we got Gankomon.
Well, this is probably like one of the coolest fucking cards.
Oh, yes. Really, really nice. So when Digivolving, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Really good in this format, since, it's only like, we have stacking right now. We don't really have whiteboards, so it's really good. But other than that, is while your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon, it gains security attack +1. Downside, it is a 4 cost to play, but it's starting to seem like the norm for Megas to cost 4 now.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't see this card a little more, especially with some black decks running around. Like, I feel like running 1 at least would be good.
Yeah, that's true, because then even if you Digivolve it, you delete it, let's say the Greymon's ability activates, you trash 2, I mean, you could still swing over it.
Bahumon, yeah, this one's going up, like, not going up in price, but it's... A lot of people are trying to make this card work. It is not a bad card by any means. I just think right now it isn't so strong because, again, I think like for the past 2 metas we've had so far from like the other sets, there's just not a lot of sideboard stuff going on besides probably like Mother. Basically what this card does, it's one of the sovereigns. So when Digivolving, unsuspend up to 2 Digimon and or Tamers, then gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon and Tamers. Now, this says unsuspend up to 2 Digimon or Tamers, and it doesn't say just you, it's also your opponents. But I think a lot of people forget that you can use this effect on yourself as well, and that can make the difference. You could basically say, I don't know how you would have it, but like, let's say you have a Craniumon on the field and it doesn't have any DP boosting stuff, you could unsuspend your Craniumon along with any other Digimon you got out. So, or one of your Tamers like Kazu. Kazu comes in clutch with a lot of decks, so you can unsuspend it. Then end of your turn, for every also you gain a memory for each of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon and Tamers. So that 5 costs for Evo goes down quite a bit. For all the Tamers people play too, you could essentially almost Digivolve into this thing for free. Then at the end of the turn, once per turn, for every 2 unsuspended Digimon or Tamers your opponent has in play, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's security. So pretty nasty. But like I said, I just don't think it's in the right format at the moment.
And even if you Digivolve it and it passes your turn, I mean, you're still trashing so long as they have, if they meet the requirements. So even then, it's pretty nasty. All in all, I mean, what card's going to let you trash just for Digivolving? I mean, there's a few, but...
Then Machine Dramon. I was so excited for this when it first came out, and then it was just garbage. So it was just so tragic. I paid top dollar for this card when it first came out, not the alt art, even though the alt art's amazing, but just the normal art, and my heart sank just seeing the value of that card decrease so bad. Anyways, as of lately, this card became very good. It became not absurdly good, but it's insane that one card made this Digimon so strong. and it's Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon. Before we see that card, I'll just read it off. It says, on play, you may place up to 5 level 5 red or black cards with Cyborg in their traits and different numbers from your hand or trash under this Digimon's Digivolution source, and you gain a memory for each card placed underneath. Obviously, you got to drop it for 12, but you gain 5 memory. All turns, this Digimon's DP can't be reduced, so it has built-in protection for DP reduction, which is actually really big. And then it says all turns, when this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash 2 level 5 Digimon cards in this Digimon's Digivolution source to prevent its deletion. It had a good effect on its own, don't get me wrong, but it's just the deck itself when this first came out was straight garbage. But yeah, just Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon just really off the top of my head. Basically, the card just lets you discard a I believe a cyborg or a machine or something from your hand, and then it just says all your level 6 machine Digimon gain rush and blitz. And then, yeah, as you can see, that just pushed Machine Dramon right then and there because, he's going to come with sources already. So, and then he's going to have Rush and Blitz. So even though it's your opponent's turn, oh man, all the inherits that he gets is just disgusting. I'm not going to go through all the different combinations of inherits you can get, but just know you can get some really nasty ones. Like, for example, like the Metal Greymon that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what made this card really good, right? And really bad. This way was really bad in the beginning. It's just you dropped it, you played it, yeah, cool, but now your turn passed and you gave your opponent like 7, 6, a lot of memory. So that's what kind of made it slow. Now that option card attack on the Heavy Mobile Digimon is what made it great, but EX3 is definitely gonna kind of give it a little more support for sure. This promo Blackwood Greymon is really good. Digiburst 2. Then you unsuspend this Digimon. Now what sucks about it is that it's 11,000 DP. So that's kind of the downside of it. It's a 3 cost to Evo. So what you could do is you could do if you have the Gogmamon that we talked about, you Digiburst 1. Now you jump it to 13, and then you can Digiburst, up to like once or twice, depending how many sources you got underneath. And you swing for like 2-3 checks. So this card it's not a staple, but it's kind of a good tech card to have.
Yeah.
If you need like 2 swings to win.
Yeah, basically just a close out game.
And now this option card, Breath of the Gods, this one is really good. It got some
oh yeah.
It got more playability, I should say, in this set now. So one of your Digimon gains reboot, and then it can have its DP reduced or be returned to its owner's hand or deck. So this is fantastic for matchups like Mastimon that return stuff to. Yep. So you could talk about that one.
Yeah, that pretty much. I play Mastimon. I love that deck. But cards like this are really annoying. There's also another annoying option card that is on this list that really stops Mastimon. Like it, I wouldn't say cripples it, but it definitely puts a stop to it for the turn. But just think of playing this with Cranium on is disgusting because now his DP can't be reduced.
And then the security effect, which is honestly just as good. This has I've seen some matches where this option card has saved them from losing because your opponent's Digimon can't attack players for the turn. So if they're about to swing for game, they hit this last security, now they can't win. So really, really good. And it's only a 2 cost, so it's fantastic to have. Yeah. Not to mention if you don't have reboot, you can just swing and then play it and bam. Now you restand. So, and for the longest, it kind of struggled having a lot of good option cards till we got like Ultimate Flare. And then we got,
there's a couple.
There's a couple good ones now, yeah. And then you can talk about these next 3.
That final Zubagamon punch. Oh man. Oh boy. I played this card quite a bit. One of my first decks that I made on my own was actually a Slayer Dramon deck from the starter deck with the Alt Force. And then because when it Digivolved, it got security attack +1. Then if it had only had 11k, so then if I had Galgamon underneath it, which I usually had a Tamer, it got it to 13k, And then with Final Zubabamon Punch, it basically gives you another 3000 DP boost until the end of your turn. Then, if your Digimon has 16,000 DP or more and it gains Blocker, Reboot, and it has Security Attack +1 until the end of your opponent's next turn. So, it's a dirty card. Will you necessarily need to have a bunch of these? No, but it's a good tech card to have.
Yeah, if you have like megas with a lot of DP. So if you have Blastmon, for sure.
Yeah.
It's really good because Blastmon's already at 13.
Yep, and then Catastrophe Cannon. I also play a lot of Diaboromon. Catastrophe Cannon for 4 cost, it D-Digivolves 2. The other effect isn't too prominent if you're not playing Diaboromon, because if you have another Diaboromon out, it gives you a Diaboromon token. But mainly you're using it just for the D-Digivolve 2, which could set your opponent back quite a bit. Then next is the big one, Ultimate Flare. This really helped out Black a lot because we didn't really have good ways of removal for Black. And this isn't necessarily a removal because potentially they could live depending on how many, like, you know, with all the X antibody stuff now. Sometimes you probably D-Digivolve it and then it's still a level 4. But the main effect is D-Digivolve 3 on one of your opponent's Digimon. So basically you bring Omega all the way back down to a level 3. And then it says delete all your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 3 or less. So remember that. That's actually a really good card. It could whiteboard.
Then we got Gold Schwarmar. Play cost of 7. This isn't really a staple card. You're really not going to run this in a lot of decks because it deletes your own Digimon. I just have this card because it does come in clutch. So I have this in my D Brigade. And all it does is delete all your Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. And,
which is amazing in D Brigade because you want most of those D Brigade cards in your trash anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... And of course it's also good. So if you... I don't know. If you know they're going to DNA next turn to a Pyodramon or what have you, you can delete it since the play costs 7 or less. So not really a card that you should get right now, but it's a good kind of like techie card to have. But Iron Fisted Onslaught you should get right now because deletes all your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. So it's a Gaia Force, although it's a little more restricted. You can only delete the highest play cost. It doesn't give you the luxury of choosing which Digimon you can delete.
Yeah, but if there's multiple Digimon with the same high play cost, they all get deleted.
Correct. So that is what also makes it really good for this one. And then obviously it's security. It just activates. So it's a good card overall. Congo.
Oh boy. This is the one I was talking about that kind of hurts Mastermon quite a bit. So until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less can attack a player. And cards can't be added to the security stack by opponent's effects. So that's all Mastermon does, is just put stuff in the security and then plays it right back. Sometimes on the occasions, for example, like the Angelomon, or even the Magna Angelomon, you do swing with them sometimes. And it's just to chip away, but you can't do that with this card. So I don't like this card.
And then another one that will another card that this would shut down is Magnamon X Antibody.
Yeah.
So
and then D Brigade as well.
This card is a must. So this one I would say can be a staple. You could always have at least one of in your deck, so you can go ahead and get that one. Another one must have is, we're not going to spend too much time on this, is just Black Memory Boost. Get to memory, reveal cards, get a black card. Pretty much it. Tai is pretty good. So he's a memory set tamer, and then on your opponent's turn, all of your black Digimon get 1000 DP. So this was kind of another way for your Digimon to get 1000 DP. What sucks is just it's on your opponent's turn. So this is really good for blockers. And then again, that's pretty much it. I do just have Tai here because he is a memory set tamer, but you could obviously use Hero or whatnot. Yeah. But again, we're just sticking to black.
And you got Izzy. Izzy's actually a really good one for black. Basically, on play, just reveal the top 3. He's a memory set tamer first, and then on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If all cards revealed are black, gain a memory, and then place the cards on top of your deck in any order. For the most part, the memory one comes in handy in the beginning of the match, but probably a little later on down the line, not so much, because they themselves probably already have a memory set tamer, and they'll probably go to 3 anyways. But it's just really powerful to be able to search the cards on the top of your deck and see what you got and being able to place them in any order you want. I think that's the really key effect for this card.
Yeah, it could be really, really good. Then Izzy and Joe. So this card was really good. It went down, obviously, because we're in the whole one stack format right now. Although sometimes it could come in effect because they'll play, like a Madoki or something, then they have two. So what's really good about this card is if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, you gain 2 memory. When one of your black Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this tamer to trigger draw 1. So what I really liked about this card, it kind of controlled how many Digimon your opponent had on the field, right?
Yeah.
So, if my opponent had this, I'm like, okay, well, I have 1 Digimon. I kind of don't want to play another one because I don't want to give him more memory. It's a good card to pick up for sure. Well, there you have it, guys. This is the blacklist for Digimon of the black cards that you should get for staple cards. And we will see you guys on the next video.
Yep. Comment down below which one you want to see next.